Good morning, everybody. It's hump day. Patricia, thank you for being a new YouTube member. Shannon, good morning. Got Kevin B and Kat backstage. I hope everybody's doing good today. Gonna be talking about Michael Vaughn, and he needs more coverage. More and more and more. Superior Dreams brought the coffee. Erica, good morning. Good morning. You know the routine. If I miss you, I'll catch you in comments later. Two Boston moms, good morning. Hope everyone's doing good. Hello, Spicy Lady. Hello, Spicy Lady. Preschool Granny, hello. Melissa, good morning. Chris, good morning. The other Sharon, how you doing, other Sharon? Amy, good morning. There's our friend Just Me. Lisa, hope everyone is doing good. I hope so and had a good evening. There's my friend, Hey Clark, or as I call her, Dr. Clark. Marion, good morning. Mama Kay. Think I saw Holly Beans in here. If not, I guess I'll see her in a little bit. Julie, good morning. Good morning. So like I said, we got to get more coverage for Michael Vaughn. Got to get more coverage for him. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Crime Time and Fruit Loop. So let's give this video a like and let's be sure to share it. You know, you guys are in like different crime Facebook groups, you know, your Twitter, stuff like that. Let's get it out there. So I'm going to bring up Kevin B, see how his night went. Then we're going to start with a very lovely email I got yesterday. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Brooks. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
good.
I'm going to hear a lot of coughing and stuff in the background because my husband is still homesick.
Oh, no. Is he is going to work today or no?
He is. He says he is, but I don't know. We're getting ready to have some bad storms, like 80-mile-an-hour wind and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. 80-mile-an-hour wind. That's a damn tornado where I live.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to say hi to my sisters listening. I want to say hi to everybody that's here today. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, this case is, wow.
Well, it's polar opposite from the Wells. I don't want to talk about the Wells today, but we have a mother that needs help. Definitely needs help. I don't know how she's coping, keeping it all together. She wants her baby back. She wants her baby back. And it's heartbreaking.
If she needs help, we're her huckleberries.
Got her.
You know, we got her back.
Just Me said, Dear Mother Nature, pick a season. For real, it's 63 degrees here right now, and tomorrow it's going to be 28. And we wonder why everybody's getting sick.
Wow. It's going to be 44 here today, and that'll feel like spring because we've had subarctic temperatures for almost a month straight.
Yep. You've had the Arctic temperatures. Hello, Katie Mason. Haven't seen you in a while. Good morning. Good morning. And I love this from Plead the Fifth. Bring Monkey Home. Yep, Michael Vaughn, 5 years old, and his nickname is Monkey. And so he would actually answer to that. So we will get to it after this comment. Hold on one moment. All right, this is an email we got yesterday from Kim, and it's just beautiful. She said, you know, I was thinking of what you and Kevin were talking about this morning, about losing a child. I agree with Kevin. It's something that you cannot describe in words. I think of all the parents are suffering a loss of a child where you don't know where they are. And losing my daughter, even though it has been excruciating and heartbreaking, I at least know where she is. So this fits perfect, this email, Kim, with today's subject. It would be worse not knowing where your child is. Today, I pray for all the good parents who are missing a child, that they have strength to go through what they are. I also pray that their child or children are found, whether they are deceased or alive. These beautiful children need to be found, all of them. She said, why are there so many missing children all over the world? Why? She said, okay, going to go watch the rest of your show. Blessings. Well, Kim, I appreciate that email. And like I said, it goes along perfect with this because Brandi Neal has been missing her son since the evening of July 27th. He has been abducted. Kat did an amazing video about this. So I'm going to kind of go in. I had it planned a different way, but I think it'd be better since this is a new case. I honestly didn't hear about this case till like a month or so after he went missing. And I was like, this should be everywhere. He was abducted. He was abducted.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said about not knowing where your child is. You know, everybody knows I lost my daughter to fentanyl, but you know, I know where she is, and in my opinion, not knowing if your child was abducted, not knowing where they are at would absolutely be torment every single second of the day. I can't even imagine. Oh my gosh, my heart goes out to this lady.
This woman, I don't know how she has other children to take care of.
Yeah.
And, you know, and in these cases, you know, we often forget people are like, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. But it's like, you still have your responsibilities. You still got to put food on the table and keep the electricity on. You got to keep it going. And this is awful. Teresa, I cannot agree with this comment more. She deserves the media attention, yet the Wells get it. Not saying Summer is not important, not saying Harmony is not important, not saying Oakley is not important, not saying all of these children aren't important, but the way that it's so concentrated on those two losers blows my mind. And I'm guilty of it too, because I have talked about Summer a ton. I started with that on June 16th, and I really figured it would be solved over the weekend. But yeah, it's time to, you know, spread the love around. Time to spread it. So I'm going to bring up our friend Kat and start rolling her video. Hello, Kat.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Brooks.
Good morning, Kat.
Just quickly, the weather here is like 52 and it's raining. So that's my contribution to the weather conversation.
Thank you. You seem to get a lot of rain, Kat.
Oh, it's always raining in England. I guarantee it.
Copy.
Every time I hear the word England in the UK, I automatically go to the Beatles.
I automatically go to the rain.
There you go.
No, thank you, Brooks. I'm really glad that you're picking up on this case. It is something that, you know, I've been focusing on as well, alongside the other cases as well. But this case is quite near and dear to my heart. So I'm really glad that people with your caliber and expertise are picking up on it as well. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And hopefully more do. Chris said Morgan Nick has been missing since the 90s from Arkansas. I remember that. And her mother's a trooper too. The foundation she has started and everything, absolutely amazing. So she's turned something horrific into something positive. Well, I mean, best she can. It's never going to be positive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get to your video, guys. This is really going to bring us up to speed. And guys, Kat has done it just like she does on every case. Amazing work. Amazing work for Michael.
Thank you.
I'm going to mute my mic. It helps if I share the screen. All right, here we go. And I'm going to stop it in here to talk to Kat.
Is another video about Monkey, little Michael Vaughan, who was last seen on July the 27th at his Fruitland, Idaho home. He's 5 years old, he has blonde hair, and he has blue eyes. He was 3'7" when he went missing and weighed 50 pounds. So I've tried to put together some maps and a bit of a deeper insight into the area in which Michael lives. Started off with just a plain map, and then I found a map that someone had written the key events of the timeline of that day on. So I overlaid the maps to help give a bit of a better context of where each event.
Okay, so let's look at this. So this is my mouse on the screen. Saw Michael lose a flip-flop. Okay, and they gave a wonderful description. They said he, like you said in the video, 3 foot tall, 7 inches, about 50 pounds, dark blue boxer briefs, blue shirt with Minecraft graphic, size 11 flip-flops. This is how the parents of a missing child give a description.
Yeah.
Exact. Okay, K9's lost Michael's scent. Third knock, saw Michael. Second knock, Michael's house. Let me see right here. White Honda Pilot seen leaving around 6:47 p.m. So before we get back into it, there is not an Amber Alert. So I'm assuming their state is like mine, because in my state, you have to have a description of the person they could be with in a vehicle description. So I'm thinking that they're the same way.
The one category of all of the categories for an Amber Alert, the one that Michael didn't fit into was that they didn't have a description of a possible abductor. They have a description of vehicle and all of the other things, but not the description of the abductor, and therefore they've twice refused to put out an Amber Alert.
Okay. But of course, they're still working the case. I was doing all kinds of research this morning, then because I talked to you yesterday.
Yeah.
And I believe it's in the forefront with this police department.
Okay. Oh yeah, me too. They're very involved, and not only that, but the parents both engaging constantly with the police force. They're on first name terms, and they speak every single day. They've been really helpful to the family, and the family has been really helpful to them. I mean, it's a good relationship that they have between the law enforcement and the parents. Because
they're being honest and they want him found.
Exactly. That's actually something that's true. There's no denying it in any way, shape or form that these parents are not involved, and that the law enforcement is working really closely and really well with the family. No doubt.
And just like, the interview I saw with his mother, I could barely get through it.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah, heartbreaking.
All right. So I love how you put this map together.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at this again. Saw Michael lose a flip-flop. There's Michael's house. Saw Michael. Second knock. Third knock. K9's lost Michael's scent. White Honda Pilot.
Okay. Event took place that day. So I felt like the most important place to start was at Michael's home address. So during that day, earlier on in the day, about 12 p.m., Michael's mother had gone to work and left Tyler, Michael's dad, at home with his 3 siblings. Brandi called home at 4 p.m. that day to see how everything was going. She was on her lunch break. Tyler had just put the baby down for the nap, and Michael was in the living room playing on the Switch with his other siblings. They were on their phones, etc. So the first map I have made will show you the location of Michael's home in their neighborhood in Fruitland, Idaho. So at 6:30 p.m, Tyler goes to check on the baby and changes the baby's diaper. It's around this point that it's believed that Michael left the house via the garage door, which leads to the front yard, and had wandered from the home in search of other children to play with. Between 6:30 and 6:45 p.m, at least 4 different neighbours in the neighbourhood saw Michael. He knocked on 3 different neighbours' doors and had lost a flip-flop in the middle, which was seen by another neighbour. All of the neighbours' houses have been searched, and all reported that they either walked him back to his yard or watched him walk back to his yard.
Okay, and in all fairness, I read some comments, people talking about the neighbors not letting him play with the kids and stuff. This was around dinner time. bath
Yeah.
time and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm not going to throw any shade at the neighbors.
But also, it was a summer's evening, and there were a lot of neighbours out on the street at the time. So the one of the third knock, right where the arrow is right now to the third knock, those neighbours are actually out on the street at the time talking, and their kids were playing, and so there was a lot of activity around the neighbourhood at the time because it was a summer's evening. People were outside enjoying the weather.
Yeah, watering their flowers, getting
Yeah.
ready for dinner. A lot of people cook out, in the
Yeah.
evenings and stuff like that. So a lot of people saw him, which is a
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah, a lot of people can say exactly where they were and what time they saw him as well.
Michael was last seen by a neighbour heading east on Southwest 9th Street. So by 6:50 p.m, Tyler had noticed that Michael wasn't in the house. So he was walking and driving around the neighbourhood, looking and calling for Michael. I've used an aerial view map of the neighbourhood just to give you a flavour of the distances he may have travelled and also the area in which Tyler was searching that evening. So the neighbourhood only has one entrance and exit point, along with camera footage of every person coming and going. The cameras are based on the entrance to that road that leads into that neighbourhood. It means that the police know the movement of every car at that time, including Tyler's car. At 7:04 that evening, Tyler called Brandi at work and told her that they couldn't find Michael. Brandi immediately left work and headed home. At 7:10, the 911.
How far away does Brandi work? Do we know? I couldn't find that.
I think it's somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes ish away from the home.
Okay, that's neither here nor there. I was just curious.
Yeah.
One call is placed to the police. And
Brandi arrives home at 7:15 p.m. The police are already there, and there is a huge community search underway. This search has been extensive and has continued for the past 6 months. The Fruitland police, the FBI, and other investigating agencies have combed through thousands of acres. They've searched with helicopters, drones, boats, divers, dogs, and on foot. And according to the chief of police, they are following up on every lead and tip that comes into them. So during the search, canines were used to try to track Michael's scent. After the third neighbour's house, where he'd knocked on the door, just down the road there was the point where the canine dogs unfortunately lost Michael's scent. As you can see on the diagram above, I've marked the point on the map where the dogs lost Michael's scent.
Okay, this is very, very important.
Yeah.
So you can see the second knock, the third knock, neighbors saw him. The dogs lost his scent right there.
Right at that point, yeah.
And there was an odd car in the neighborhood.
Right. So you're going to see in a minute the position of where they lost the scent and the position of that vehicle that they're still trying to track down and trace.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just looking at the map. Sorry.
It's okay. It's just not that far.
Slow.
It's not that far away from where they lost his scent. The vehicle is not parked that far away from there.
Because that pilot to me is very suspect.
Yeah. And it is to everybody.
Yeah, I was reading some comments like from some locals and stuff, and they said they'd never seen that car before.
Never. And it's never been parked there before. It was only caught because it was caught on somebody's Ring doorbell camera opposite the house that had the camera. They caught that Honda Pilot, but the fact that no one's come forward and no one's been able to track that vehicle down, to me, is really suspicious.
Very, very.
And then a closer up view on a map of where this point is in relation to the rest of the neighbourhood. So as you can see on the right hand picture, just at the top, I've marked the point where the search dogs lost Michael's scent. It's because further down this road, which is the only road that leads out of this neighbourhood, there was at the time a Honda Pilot, a white Honda Pilot with the reg 2016 to 2020 parked. Now, this vehicle was not known in the area, and the CCTV from the house opposite did capture this vehicle. The police are looking to trace the driver of this vehicle and obviously the vehicle itself, because it was seen leaving the area at 6:47 p.m, which is of course around the time that Michael Vaughan disappeared from the neighbourhood. They have been putting pictures out of this white Honda that they are wanting to trace, and anyone with any information about this Honda should call the Fruitland Police Department.
So that's where it was parked.
We have a really good question here.
Okay.
Have police seen if it was a rental car? I'm wondering that myself.
I haven't heard that, but then obviously
But they're not going to tell us. They're not
exactly.
Gonna tell us.
There is information that the police aren't giving out about
Hey,
things as well.
I have a question. On that map, there's green areas. Is that woods? Is that a park? Is that what is that?
It's surrounded by farmland and open fields and
Okay.
yeah, so it's not similar terrain to, for example, the Wells property. It's open farmland and rural kind of fields, and it's not densely. It's got the river, the Snake River as well. Is it called Snake River or Snake?
Yes, Snake River.
Yeah, that's very near.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like,
I'm more worried about them going the opposite direction, because Fruitland is 50 miles northwest of Boise. Actually, them going south into Nevada.
Right.
Because that stretch between the Idaho border and, say, going into Las Vegas, there is absolutely zero signal. I've been on it. You can't get a cell phone. It's a very dangerous highway if you have a car wreck, because you have no signal. Someone just has to come across you. There is no cell signal. You can't get, your GPS, nothing. I'm way more concerned about that.
Right. That was one thing that we were speaking about yesterday, was the lack of gas stations and places to stop in between there and Nevada where it could have been picked up on camera, that vehicle, because obviously if it's barren and there's nothing there, or it's desert or whatever the terrain is like in between and there's no signal, you can't track a GPS on a vehicle, you can't track a CCTV camera or something like that is not going to pick it up. So that was really interesting to me. I didn't actually know that until I spoke to you yesterday about it, but I found that really interesting to consider.
That was the first thing I thought, because I've heard several people say, talk at the river, obviously makes sense. But they've had all these divers and everything.
Right.
If they're close to Oregon, but I'm like, to be off the grid, you would go south.
Right. And other people have said to me in my comments and stuff that I don't know how true this is, but that they just generally don't have these vehicles around that area. This particular Honda Pilot thing is not a normal vehicle to see in that area. So I don't know. But as well, and I haven't really researched it much, but I was just wondering if it definitely is a Honda Pilot. I think I don't know. I haven't been able to find a...
It's definitely extended. Danny said, what was the knocking about? I'm so confused about why a little guy would be hitting. He was just looking for kids to play with.
Yeah. So the first couple of houses that he knocked on, he was asking to play with their children. And they said, like, no, you need to go ask your mum or your dad or whoever. We can't just let you in, sort of thing. You need to go home. So they watched him walk back home. The third neighbours that he knocked at were out on the street, and they kind of said, oh no, they're not in at the moment, or they're already playing or something, and they didn't actually see him walk back to the home. The last time they saw him, he was heading east on Southwest 9th Street.
I'll read this comment real quick. I think you're exactly right, and the way you put it together with the map is perfect.
Thank you.
Laurie, the vehicle I bet took this young man. I just pray that he is okay and nothing bad has happened to him. His family is desperately looking for him. Mom is so broken, I couldn't watch her. I had such a hard time watching her yesterday. Such a hard time. I'm a mama bear too. And I had a very, very hard time.
Yeah, you can really see her pain and her suffering. It's evident in her decline. Her health is declining, and You know, I mean, I can't imagine myself. I'm not a mum, but I just can't imagine not being able to find one of your children for so long, and the toll that that must take on you. It's so hard.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to this Honda Pilot. Yeah, you're exactly right. This looks like a minivan. The most of the Honda Pilots I see are smaller.
Right,
I'm
and
not a
I've
car
compared them with,
expert.
I have compared them with other Honda Pilots, obviously like Google Images or whatever of Honda Pilots. There's just something about it that it just doesn't seem to fit, but I guess they must know it's a Honda Pilot because it was caught on the camera, although there was no registration or anything like that caught on the camera. They must have identified it definitely as a Honda Pilot. It just doesn't look like, it's got certain differences to other Honda Pilots that I've looked at across that time.
Danny at Brooks and Cat, wouldn't his feet be burning up on the pavement? Well, he had on flip-flops. Now, one was lost, but let's think about it. If he's put in a car, he's not walking anymore.
Oh,
hang on. This is why I love this chat.
Okay.
It's a Honda. The camera has been elongated.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Thank
right.
you.
Okay. Thank you, because I've spent time looking at this thinking I just don't understand how this is a Honda Pilot, but you're absolutely right. Thank you. That's just made things a little bit easier in my mind.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, thank you for that, because I was really scratching my head. And hey, guys, I see a lot of new names in here. Here for Michael, here for Brandi, their family. Hit that sub button, because we're going to continue to talk about this.
Good.
This woman needs it. She deserves it.
Absolutely.
Using a bigger map, I've tried to pinpoint as closely as possible the position of where this white Honda Pilot was parked at the time. The police are really hoping that it will jog somebody's memory who may have seen this vehicle in the area on or around July 27th, or who have seen it since. The police are also looking to identify a man with dark hair wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts that was seen walking in that area around the same time. It is believed this is an unknown male in the area, and nobody as yet has come forward to answer either the calls for the driver to come forward or for the man walking.
Suspect AF. And I would like to know how far back in their cameras they've gone to see how long he had been trolling this neighborhood.
Right.
This was not his first trip around the block.
No.
In the area. So the Honda Pilot was seen leaving the neighborhood on the cameras at 6:47 p.m. that day, July the 27th, 2021. As I said earlier,
okay, you said 6:47.
Yep.
That's what I read as well.
Yep.
The call was made at 7 o'clock that night.
Yep. 10 past 7, I think the call was made. God. They noticed they think that he left the house between 6:30 and 6:45. Tyler rang Brandi at 4 minutes past 7, and the police report was made at 10 past 7. And that vehicle left the neighborhood at 6:47. So exactly around the same time that Michael disappeared was the time that Honda Pilot left that neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is only one road in and out of this neighborhood, and that entrance and exit point is covered by cameras. Despite extensive searches of the area, police have not found Michael Vaughn, and they are now considering this to be an abduction case. Somebody must know something in terms of what has happened to this little boy. Everyone in the neighborhood has had their houses searched on numerous occasions. The police are leaving no stone unturned. Fruitland is 6 miles away from state lines in Oregon, and billboards have gone up across the county and across the area to try to help to find Michael Vaughn. The reward currently stands at over £52,000 for any tips that lead to the safe return of Michael Vaughn. Thank you for watching my video. Please contact the Fruitland Police Department if you have any information pertaining to the whereabouts of Michael Vaughn.
Okay, there's the number. There is the number. I also have it in the banner.
Yep.
All right. Credible tips only. Theories, speculation, stuff like that. It isn't going to work.
One thing that they're specifically asking people to do is if they, I mean, you know, it's a bit difficult for me to comprehend, but if in your neighborhood you see someone that has a brand new child, or there's a, you know, a new child at a school or in a supermarket with someone that you know that didn't have a child before, or they're kind of asking people to look out for that kind of thing, because every single neighbor in that whole entire neighborhood that we just saw on the map there, every single one of them in the whole neighborhood has opened their doors to police, have had their houses searched on multiple occasions and on random occasions as well. And every single one of them has allowed the searches to happen, has not impeded it or hindered it at all. So if you live near there, or even like Brooks is saying in Nevada kind of places, like, are there new children around or a new child around that you haven't seen before? Like, that's one of the things that they're really keen to look into.
Yep, I agree. And it's odd that you say that, because Sean Hornbeck, when he was kidnapped,
Yeah.
that was definitely something that went out. They said, if you see anybody with a child that hasn't had a child before, even if they tell you this is my nephew, even if they say my cousin stayed with me for a little while, even if they say this is my little brother, call our tip line.
Yeah. And remember Michael's face, because Brandi has asked on several occasions that people, especially YouTubers, keep his name and his face out there. And so yeah, if you see anything, and especially a little boy that looks like Michael, please like ring the number and let them know.
Well, and like I said, they mean business. I mean, there's not 3 hours of unaccounted for time and a vague description of what they had on, what he had on. I mean, it's down to a gnat's ass right here. The Minecraft t-shirt, the whole 9 yards. That's how you give us a description.
Yeah, exactly. As well, they've searched, I think it's over this now, but the last time I checked, they'd searched over 3,500 acres around that property, and I mean searched it, like saturated it. So I think they feel that it's pretty clear that he didn't just wander off or get lost or whatever. I mean, they were searching within 10 minutes of the report being made. So
oh yeah, it was very, very fast. So we don't know like who his favorite friends were to play with, and we certainly don't want to bring their names up on here or anything like that. But I believe Brandi when she's like, you know, he knew where he could ride his bike. He wasn't going to leave the street. No.
And also she said that he wouldn't have got into a stranger's car willingly. Like if a stranger came and said, you know, why don't you come and have a look in my car? He wouldn't have got into that car willingly. So yeah, he's been picked up and put into it.
I wouldn't think so. But I mean, no matter how much we train our children, especially at that age, he could easily have been told your mom's looking for you. It's happened before.
Yeah.
Your mom's at the hospital and she told me to come get you.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not saying that he would go willingly, but told something like that, he's a little boy, you know. Sonia, you're right. It is horrific. It is. It is. We got to get this out there for Brandi. Got to get it out there. Now, I was very pleased to see that NewsNation is covering his abduction as well.
Yep.
So I am going to put up with our friend Jennifer. I'm going to put up their latest coverage. So,
okay.
Entertain our friends. I'll be back.
Okay. Are you okay, Kevin?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not, listen, this is my opinion, and I'm not blaming any neighbors whatsoever. So don't even, you know, people don't. I have a concern with monkey knocking on doors.
He was going to find kids to play with.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to comment on this.
But what are you thinking?
only thing I was thinking was, did he knock on a wrong door? That's all I'm saying. I'm
Oh.
not blaming any neighbors here, folks, at
Mhm.
all. But Monkey seemed to me he's outgoing.
Yeah.
He's knocking on doors. Did he
Mhm.
knock on the wrong door?
Possibly.
That is just a concern of mine,
Yeah.
and I cannot disregard that. Because look it, he wouldn't willingly go in a car, so there'd be a struggle. Um, this car was parked by fields, and not really woods.
Right.
He wouldn't go in the car willingly. Um, like I said, he's outgoing. I wrote down another thing. The search grid was huge.
Mhm.
In the back of my mind, did he knock on the wrong? I know they say they checked the neighbor's house, but um, I'm just saying that he could have knocked on the wrong door in that neighborhood. And that is a red flag for me. And that's all I wanted to say. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
That's fair enough.
Lori, are you local? Because you know a lot. His mom said that that's what they do in that neighborhood, and they know most of the neighbors. Okay.
Oh, okay.
They do know most of the neighbours, but like
Yeah.
Brandi said, she's not necessarily like close with all the neighbours, as
Right.
in she's really close with her family unit, and they do know their neighbours. But she did say that at one point during one interview that she did, that she's not like best friends with all of her neighbours kind of thing, but she does know that they have all been completely thoroughly checked to the point where even if the police turn up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say we want to search your house, all of the neighbours, every single one of them have said come in, do it right now, open house kind of thing, which I think has got to have been really good for that to happen, because obviously, like Brooks has said to me before, that it's quite difficult for police to just turn up and search your house without a warrant or whatever, but all of them have had a complete open door like policy to the police.
Maybe it was shown and I didn't catch it. How far was that car from his house?
It was on the next street. I think Brooks has got the map. So from the corner of the street where he was seen, which was just down the bottom of this street, it was across and down the road. I don't even know how far that is. I couldn't tell you, but it's not far.
I'm just, wondering, this abductor had to have unless Monkey Road went where, as far as that car was, this abductor, are they thinking that maybe the abductor parked there and then walked and then abducted Monkey? Or did Monkey ride his bike that far? Or walk or whatever?
I was going to say, I'm not.
Just because the car was parked there at a certain time, in the time frame, doesn't mean he didn't drive down the street, because he's been seen on cameras and stuff. As far as Monkey getting in the car, there's no footage of that.
No, and that's the only image that they have of that vehicle is from that camera opposite the house opposite. But yeah, he could have been driving around the rest of the neighborhood at different points and seen Monkey on his own and picked him up, put him in a vehicle and driven off.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, your video was incredible. Now, we did invite Brandi to be on the show. She didn't see my message yet. And also, she's talking to the media and everything like that. She'll watch it. She might want to get a sense of what we're about before she puts herself out there. I don't blame her, but like I said, she hasn't even seen my message. I don't know her work schedule, what she has going on or anything like that. She has an open invitation anytime to come on. Tell her story, tell her truth. She was on the lab with Josh the other night. Great interview. We talk about missing children. We talk about the victims. It's not always about, children. And so it's not about channels. It's not about creators. It's about the victims. Check it
Right.
out. He did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to put on News Nation.
Okay.
We continue to follow a missing case tonight. A 5-year-old from Idaho. His name is Michael Vaughn. He disappeared after walking out of his family's home in Idaho almost 5 months ago and has not been seen since. Police have said that it is increasingly possible that Michael was abducted, yet his disappearance at the time did not trigger an Amber Alert. I have a lot of questions about this case. I know you do as well. I'm going to bring in Jennifer Coffendorfer now. She's a former FBI agent. She's been closely following this case for the past couple of months. I'm going to spend a couple minutes with Jennifer asking my questions. And for you at home, all of you on social media who have been wanting to know about Michael's disappearance, you've got questions on your mind, you can send those questions to Twitter using hashtag NewsNationPrime. And then after the next commercial break, we'll have your questions for Jennifer as well. Jennifer, as always, thank you. This case came to our attention in a fearful way. We saw this little boy's face, monkey as his mom calls him, just vanished into thin air. I want to begin with what the mom said a moment ago in the piece. She said, I believe somebody may have been watching our family when my son disappeared. There was a white car in the area that police are looking into. There was a man in that drainage tunnel that was unfamiliar. And also you heard police say there's an increasing possibility that Michael was abducted. As an investigator with your years of experience, what stands out to you about this little boy? And
by the way, this is a great interview. I know the police are saying it's an increasing possibility. They're not eyeing the parents. So
Yeah, this was when it was 5 months. I think it's like 7 months now. So
yeah, we're not going to read too much into that. So this is great. Jennifer knocks it out of the park as usual.
him vanishing.
Well, you perfectly laid out, Marnie, all the facts that I would have said. This little boy is 5 years old. He's not a runaway. He's not visiting a girlfriend. This little boy is gone and missing, last seen literally going door to door in his neighborhood, very vulnerable for being abducted. There was an unfamiliar car in the area, an unfamiliar man in the area, and there is no reason to suspect he is anything other than abducted.
Boom. He's riding his bike, looking for friends to play with. There's an odd vehicle. There is an odd man. I know my surroundings, okay? Just like you guys all do. I know when there's a different car in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm nosy like that. Oh, what's going on? You got a friend over? You know what I mean? I'm very glad that the neighbors picked up on this.
Right. And I don't think that at the time it was particularly registered that there was a strange car in the area. But after Michael disappeared, it became a huge thing because everyone's suddenly like, whoa, there was a strange car in the area, you know? And it hasn't been traced yet, which is also interesting.
But it rings a bell when something happens.
Right. Exactly. It's at that point that you suddenly realise, oh my God, yeah, I did see a strange car in the area. Or I did see a man wearing a white shirt and that I'd never seen before, you know? Those things really hit home once this kind of thing happens.
Okay, so Jennifer, this is my question, but I have been following everybody on social media asking the very same thing about an Amber Alert. People want to know, why was an Amber Alert not issued? The Idaho State Police did send us some clarification on this case early on. They said with the information that was available in this case, we made the same notification as an Amber Alert. It's called EMPA. It's an emergency missing persons alert. But they said the state of Idaho follows national best and proven practices on endangered missing persons alert. So help us understand the decision by Idaho State Police or police in any matter when a child goes missing.
Well, essentially, the Amber Alert being the gold standard for being able to find missing and abducted and endangered children is kept very close to the vest in terms of being able to issue one. They are used very sparingly. about 7 out of 10 cases in terms of those that have been issued an alert are actually recovered. And 17% of the 7 out of 10 are actually directly attributable to that alert. So they don't want to desensitize that alert. It sticks out to anyone in law enforcement who is a part of receiving this alert, because they know it means there's an endangered child. For all of the citizenry, when we receive that alert on our phone, we immediately take note of what the details are, and we're on the lookout. It truly is the way to find missing children. So sadly, in this case, because they didn't have enough information to say at that particular time that he was abducted, they instead went with an endangered missing person. Now, an endangered missing person in Idaho, the list has over 40 from ages 100, mostly middle-aged people who are missing. That does not rise to the level of this situation in terms of what we're looking at here in terms of the probability of abduction.
It just doesn't have the same urgency, right? You see an Amber Alert come across your phone, you immediately look at all the identifying factors. It doesn't have the same effect 5 months later either. Not being critical of the investigation, but from the parent standpoint, you want everything you can, right? You want all hands on deck. Jennifer, something else that Markey passed along.
They do want all hands on deck. Absolutely. Yep. Share this video, whether it's to Twitter, wherever you circulate.
Yeah.
Kat's videos, get them out there. When Josh talked to her on the lab, absolutely, this has got to get more circulation. Has to.
Thank you. I think it was really interesting. What I thought that you said was really interesting about the whole Arizona, Nevada kind of thing. It needs to spread at least that far. It needs to go at least that far. There is no Amber Alert. So everything that's being done to find Michael is centered in Idaho right now. But if there's a possibility that he could be out as far as, Nevada or somewhere even further than that, it's really important that the people that live out there promote this as much as possible to get his face out there, because it's not going to go as an Amber Alert. So it kind of needs to be made national, I think.
Yeah. And some states, they're very quick to pull that trigger. Quick to pull that trigger. And Jennifer explained it desensitizes it. I mean, he's still on the National Registry as a missing child.
Yeah.
So it's no secret that he's missing. It's not like anyone's sweeping it under the rug.
No.
I mean, my state's the same way. We need, it's neither here nor there. I can't change the laws. I wish I could. Just give me a day.
But what will help is people putting it out into those areas through social media. I think, like, the further it spreads, the more awareness it will raise. And I mean, Brandi has had, or not Brandi personally, but the law enforcement has had calls from every country pretty much on earth about Michael. And I'm talking, I've seen this little boy who's, got blonde hair and blue eyes, and I don't think he fits into this family. I mean, literally, they've had calls from all over the world about Michael.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, if it can spread around the world, then it can spread around America for sure. Like, sure. It might not take an Amber Alert. It might just take people raising awareness in their local community, in their area, for this to get solved.
Because, one share equals another share equals another share equals another share.
Yep.
She did search registered sex offenders in Michael's neighborhood. The state database reveals 6 within a mile radius of his home. Would police automatically search those homes and question those individuals?
All right. So when I heard this, I about lost my mind. 6 sex offenders within a mile of him. 6.
Wow.
As part of their initial investigation?
Yes, I would have expected that to be the first thing done. There was one just doors down from him, really, blocks away. So that should have been immediately looked into. And I would suspect it has been looked into if it was done properly, which I have no reason to think that the Fruitland Police Department did not do a proper investigation.
And they still say this case is a priority. The search continues for Michael. Jennifer, stick around. We've got questions from our viewers coming up about this case and Michael's disappearance. And if you'd like to submit a question now, you can do so. Tweet us by using the hashtag NewsNationPrime. We continue to follow the disappearance of 5-year-old Michael Vaughn in Fruitland, Idaho. Next here on NewsNation Prime. It has been almost 5 months since a 5-year-old boy from Idaho, Michael Vaughn, disappeared from his family's home, walked out the front door, walked down the street. He has not been seen since. His mom and family are desperate for answers tonight, and we need the public's help as well. Jennifer.
Okay, so remember, this interview was done at 5 months. It's been almost 7 now.
Yeah.
Hoffendorfer joining us once again with some of your questions tonight on this little boy's disappearance and the search for him now in Idaho and elsewhere. Jennifer, we have a couple of questions from Twitter tonight. And the first, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are swarming around this question about Amber Alerts. This person asked, can we expect an Amber Alert from the Idaho State Police? What are the chances now that we know the circumstances?
Well, the Idaho State Police have known the circumstances, and even though they seem to be evolving toward classifying this as an abduction, I would say this is a bureaucratic decision that's being made by somebody who's never been boots on the ground and never been involved in an investigation like this. And I hope that this is pushed up their chain, hopefully to their director, who has experience in these cases and who might overturn this bureaucratic decision. There is absolutely no downside. There is nothing that will be desensitized. And in fact, it actually is the exact reason why an Amber Alert was created, this sort of case.
See if that process evolves. Jennifer, we have about 30 seconds to answer this last question. It is about the public's impact in these cases. They ask, what can we effectively do right now as a community to bring Michael Vaughn home? How can we help?
Well, of course, flooding social media with the circumstances and with photos of Michael Vaughn. In addition, reaching out to the Idaho State Police and imploring them to issue this alert. This is subjective. There are suggestions that are made in regard to when these alerts are issued. This is not a dogmatic precedent, and it's important for Michael Vaughn to receive an Amber so he can be found.
Jennifer Koffendorfer, as always, thank you, and thank you at home for your passion and your questions tonight. I want to put Michael's photo back on the screen for you tonight. If you have any information that can help in this case, there is now a $50,000 reward for anything that leads to Michael Vaughn's safe return. This little boy is 5 years old. He hasn't been seen since this summer. His mom on tonight, desperate for answers. She believes her little boy is alive. They call him Monkey because he is full of energy from the time he wakes up in the morning until the time he goes to sleep. Please help us to bring him home tonight. Thanks for watching. Click the red.
Okay, that was a great interview, and you could tell
Really
Jennifer
good.
was just like, no, you need to get an Amber Alert up there.
Oh, she has campaigned on Twitter. I mean, almost every day she posts on Twitter about getting an Amber Alert for Michael. It does seem to, like she said, it does seem to have been a bureaucratic decision. But I think at this point, I mean, Brandi was desperate for an Amber Alert as well, and she was campaigning for it as well. But I think at this point, the decision has been made twice now to not issue an Amber Alert. And I personally feel that this is where social media has to come into it, because it needs everybody to see his face and know his name and know to look out for him. If that's not going to happen by an Amber Alert, then it's kind of down to us in that respect and regard.
Well, I think it's absolutely heartbreaking. I would be in constant fear. I understand not moving because you want him to be able to find his own home.
Yeah.
If he is in the area. But, you have other children, and when she thinks somebody's watching her family, I couldn't even sleep at night. And I know she's having a lot of problems. I mean, it's affected her mentally, physically. She's doing everything she can.
Let me tell you something else as well. There recently was like official billboards, like official, do you know what I mean? Like proper billboards put up. But
Mhm.
even then, every single weekend, Brandi and her other children hand make billboards. And I think we saw a few of them in that footage just there. They go out across the state hand making billboards to put up. They've made signs for people to put up in their front gardens. They do not stop. They do not stop. Not just Brandi, but you know the other children as well. They don't stop looking for Michael, and I think it's a testament to them how how much strength they have. Because, like you said earlier, if this was me, I think I'd be in bed 24 hours a day. But they have not stopped, and I just think they'll do anything they can, and I want to support them personally. I want to support them to do anything they can to bring Monkey home. And I might not be able to do much from England. I got told in my comments section earlier that I shouldn't be, I shouldn't be interested in missing children in America because I live in England. That's not the
That
point.
is no, and that is freaking rude to even say something.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about the fact that a child's missing. It doesn't really matter if you're in another country. I wish I could do more physically, but I have the platform, and you have a platform to put his name and face out there, and that should be what matters right now. Is bringing awareness and
use your
showing his
platform. I
face.
hate when people say, "Well, it's not your
Absolutely.
business. You're not from here." And
Right.
it comes up in
Exactly.
every single case. I had a group for
Yep.
Evelyn Boswell, and I can't tell you how many people were coming after me going, "But you don't even live here. What can you do?" And I'm like,
Right.
for one, I didn't invite you to the group. And two, it's social media. It gets it out there. It gets it out
Absolutely.
there. Julie, you're right.
100%.
He would fit right in Utah. Yep. I wonder about Utah myself because I'm thinking about places, and there's a lot in the West. There's a lot in the West where there's like no signal. You are off the grid. Good grandma, thank you for the super sticker. Don't let Ellie tell you not to look for your child. Oh, I don't think they ever did say that.
No, definitely not. I mean, they like I said earlier, they've been fully engaged with the family, and the family has been fully engaged with the law enforcement. There's no problems in that regard. The family know that law enforcement is working every hour God sends to find Monkey, and the law enforcement know the same of the family. They don't have any qualms or any doubts. They're fully on board, both parties fully on board with finding Monkey, and that's what's important. I would literally give anything for Monkey to be home with Brandi, because I see her pain it's so visceral. You can't mistake that. And like I said, I've got a platform and I intend to use it for victims, and Monkey is a victim, and Brandi is a victim, and her other kids are victims. So let's not play politics with it. Let's just say, let's find Monkey. Let's put his name and face out there, and hope that someone's memory gets jogged, someone knows what's what, and that he'll come home and that he can be found.
No, we don't play semantics. We don't play politics. We don't play
Absolutely not.
you're on the wrong side of town. These are missing children.
Exactly.
And the parents can only do so much.
Right.
And some of these cases where the parents don't come out and speak to the media, it's because that the liaison at the police department said, no, we'll handle this, because they don't want it to be messy on the social media side.
Right.
And it's happened in many, many cases where the parents are innocent, but you have instant suspicion on them, and it's really hard for them to get their work done.
Right. But I think in this case, Brandi is using social media so appropriately.
Yes,
she is discerning about whether she'll go on a channel to talk or whether she'll do an interview. That doesn't mean she doesn't want to. That just means she doesn't want false information spread. She doesn't want people throwing shade at them, because obviously they've been cleared by law enforcement.
Yes.
And the law enforcement say this is a stranger abduction. This is not games or larks or pranks. This is a desperate woman desperately seeking for her son's safe return. So I think that the law enforcement actually even support what Brandi is doing, because she is working off her own back and her own initiative, and her pain and her suffering is motivating her to fight, which is it's just amazing. I can't even say enough about how strong Brandi is as a mother.
She's got a strength. She's got the
Incredible.
strength of the
It's
Marine.
incredible, and she needs people supporting her. You know, she really appreciates prayers. She really appreciates people who are willing to work to find Michael, even if all they can do is share his picture every single day. You know, even that Brandi feels grateful and deeply grateful for, and I know that.
Yeah, let's light chat up. You guys take a screenshot, whatever. There's his missing flyer right there. Share it, share the video, share Kat's video. Let's put some positive support in here for Brandi, so when she watches it, she can see we are definitely team Michael Vaughn. We're not here to spread insane rumors and dig up conspiracy theories.
Absolutely not. Thank you, Brooks. Really appreciate it.
So I'm going to put her most recent interview up. And then I do have a breaking news, a case in New York.
Okay.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. You would think by now I'd know how to do this.
You're doing great, hon.
Hell, I bother you guys every morning. You think by now I'd know how to do it. All right.
Nearly 5 months since little Michael Vaughn, a 5-year-old boy from Fruitland, was first reported missing. Search efforts and investigations into where he could be, might be, continue.
Tonight, his mother, speaking to us tonight, believes her son was abducted and is asking that he will be returned safely home.
She sat down with our Tristan Lewis for the first time. And Tristan, you've been up.
When she speaks of Michael, she is convinced he is coming home.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. I love her immense hope.
Yeah.
Because he needs it.
Yeah.
On the story since it first broke back in the summer, and she says she is not giving up hope.
Yeah, Mark and Kim, Michael's mother, Brandi Neal, says pure panic and fear is what went through her mind when she found out Michael was missing. And while she and her family are...
That's exactly what a mother says.
Yeah.
Panic and fear. Don't think that panic and fear has lessened.
No.
Working to be more present, there is not a moment that goes by she does not think of him.
The detective and the captain brought this over yesterday.
Generosity is something Brandi Neal and her family have seen a lot of in the past few months.
We always put the Christmas tree up as a family and decorate it together. It's always something we do. And talking with the older kids the day before yesterday, we weren't going to put it up this year.
A donated Christmas tree from Fruitland High School students on Tuesday, decorated with ornaments.
By the way, she uses present tense, guys.
Yep.
Make that note. She uses present tense.
Another act of kindness from a community shaken by the disappearance.
And so this was a blessing.
A blessing. But what she is really looking for is a clue to what happened to her son.
I don't even know how to explain how you do it every day, how you keep going, but you can't give up. You have to try.
Michael Vaughn has been reported missing since July 27th. Brandi was at her job that day, and Michael's father, Tyler Vaughn, was watching the kids. She was scheduled to work until 9 that night.
She looks totally different.
You can totally see.
And I'm not picking on how she looks. Do not take it that way. This has taken such a toll on her.
Absolutely.
Such a toll on her.
It's really clear to see. I've been watching this case since the beginning, and just the decline in her health, it's just so obvious to see, and it's understandable. You know, it's completely understandable. It's tragic.
I'm gonna lose it.
But they'll just
Ju-
say something really quickly.
Yes.
She really does. Brandi really does draw strength from people that support her. She really does. I mean, it's not a yeah, okay, thanks, I appreciate it. It's a real need that she has. It's the only thing keeping her going, really, is the support from people and also her faith as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, she needs all the support she can get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got law enforcement on her side, but they're trying to figure out a way to phrase it. She needs support.
Yeah, she draws strength from it.
We got a call at 7:04 p.m.
Tyler said he couldn't find Michael. He was screaming for him, and I could hear the fear in his voice, and I froze at the moment. My coworker saw me, and it's like, go. And I ran. I grabbed my purse, and I drove as fast as I could here.
Pulling into her neighborhood that night, she saw police and neighbors everywhere, shouting and searching for Michael.
It's a blur because it was all so much, but there were people still out in the fields at 4 o'clock in the morning, community members, because we didn't leave outside for months.
Although Brandi describes Michael as a friendly and curious boy, she says he rarely wandered off outside by himself. And the few times he did, it was never farther than the end of their street.
The feeling was that he may have wandered, but I didn't believe that.
Today, what do you think?
I believe my son has been abducted. I believe somebody took him.
Not a second goes by Brandi does not think about Michael. Even those few moments she's enjoying time with her family or watching her other kids' activities at school, she said she feels some guilt.
There was some jokes made, and I got very emotional. And my beautiful daughter, Mama, it's okay not to live in sadness all the time.
That is heartbreaking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that your child has that level of emotional maturity and, despite everything, doesn't want to see her mum crying all the time and sad all the time and trying to comfort her. Like, it was really powerful when I heard that.
Anxious, crying, nervous, upset, panic, scared, and still having to keep the household together because there's other children.
Yep.
Oh.
Like, she told me that she's like, it's not good for us to live in sadness all the time. And she's right. And she said, it's not that you're not thinking about him and we're not thinking about him, but we got to try, Mama. I said, okay.
While she tries to live in the present more, her desire to find Michael stays just as strong. She continues to ask everyone to continue to share Michael's story.
Because somebody has to know something. Somebody has to have seen something. And you just try to keep pushing forward.
Brandi and her family thank everyone who has been there for them throughout the past few months, and she says they continue working with the Fruitland Police Department, who, she says, at this time has become more like family to her. And Mark and Kim, getting Michael's name and picture out there nationwide is what she's working to accomplish. Anyone with any...
And we're going to help her. Information,
Absolutely.
Again, is asked to contact the Fruitland Police Department.
Oh, that's the face of a mother looking for their child. It's complete desperation.
I think it's quite easy to feel powerless to help, but by doing, she's so keen for people to put Michael's face and Michael's story out there that kind of sometimes feels like the only thing that you can do. I mean, I would just give anything to be able to give her a physical, actual hug, and to actually say, I'm here for you, and I will help you. But obviously that's not going to be possible. So the next kind of thing that you can do is to raise awareness and to keep sharing and to keep talking and to keep his name out there, even if that's all we can do, and it helps to move the case, to bring justice and closure and stuff to this case, then that is what I will do for sure. And I know you will too, Brooke.
Absolutely. Because when a child has gone missing by the hands of a family member, friend of the family, they haven't gone too far. A true abduction, which we've talked on here before, is the 1%. I do feel there needs to be an Amber Alert, and I do believe it needs to be nationwide. They don't stick around close. They don't stick around close. Some have, and it's odd that nobody recognized the child. It's just us not paying attention. They very rarely stick around close. And you have to understand the proximity in the country that they're at. The West is very vast. It's very open, very spotty signal. And he could have easily gotten out of town with him and not been tracked at all.
Yeah. I don't think I realized that until I actually spoke to you last night about it, because to me, like, I don't really have a comprehension of the amount of space and land and etc. It's to me, it's incredible because they have searched a lot in that area. Now, bearing in mind that's really the only residential neighborhood in that area, and then obviously like Oregon's like 6 miles away, but he could have been way out of both of those states within a few hours. And without an Amber Alert or a nationwide alert, even, he could be in those areas and no one's even realized that he's missing. In Idaho, he could have been, like you say, in Nevada or the West, anywhere, and gone under the radar because there's been no nationwide alert.
Thank you, Billy.
Hey, Billy.
Billy said she just subbed. Good.
Lovely.
Gotta get the names out. Gotta get these names out for these children. Got to. Lisa, there are only a few highways out of Idaho that go anywhere. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been there. And I know people are saying, well, they're not too far from Oregon. Again, spotty service, very hard to track. I'm more concerned about going south into Nevada. That's what I'm most concerned about. Got a bunch of people in here from Oklahoma. I'm from Oklahoma too.
I think the thing with Oregon is that the police and all of the state agencies and stuff were involved in the search as well, so they're aware that Michael's missing and that in that area kind of thing, possibly. But if you go down as far as like Nevada or wherever those places are that are much further away and much more sparse and no signal and all of that kind of thing, I'm not sure that those agencies were involved. I don't know how notified they are to be on the lookout for this vehicle, for example, or I know there's a bolo bin put out for the vehicle, but it hasn't been found. So I just wonder if the news has spread that far, or how involved those agencies in that area of the country are compared to how they are in Idaho and Oregon.
Right. No.
I'm guessing they're not as involved as those neighboring kind of states, and perhaps they need to be involved.
Oh, I think they all need to be involved. And I'm sure with the FBI involved, they are. They realize that they could be traveling over state lines.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we got a lot of people very engaged in chat. Let's get it out there. Let's get it out there.
Absolutely.
So we've got some breaking news that came in from last night. Then we're going to close up the show talking about Monkey. This is the outcome I want for Monkey. Okay, guys.
Okay.
A lot of people
Yep.
emailed me overnight. This is what we want for Monkey. So get ready.
New York found safe after vanishing for 2.5 years. Her family thanking the detectives who were able to discover her. Paislee Schultes was just 4 years old when she disappeared in July of 2019 from her town in New York State. After receiving a tip that she was being hidden, police searched the home on Monday, finding her inside of a stairwell.
That's called a credible tip.
Mhm.
They want credible tips. Now, little Paislee is safe now. She's home safe. That's called a credible tip.
Something like that. We're going to have NewsNation correspondent Paul Gerke join us to give us a little more detail here. First, we have to know how this little girl is doing. And do we know anything about her abductors?
Yeah, good morning, Adrian. Paislee was checked out by paramedics and released in good health. She's back with her legal guardian and her older sister right now. As for her abductors, it's believed they were her non-custodial parents, Kimberly Cooper and Kirk Schultes, who took her from Western New York back in 2019 when Paislee was only 4 years old. She hadn't been seen since until detectives discovered Cooper with Paislee on the other side of the state, hiding in a tiny makeshift room under the basement stairs. This is where Paislee Schultes was found Monday, a small, cold hideaway under the basement stairs.
The blankets were soaking wet.
Detectives don't believe Paislee was forced to live there, but they don't know much about her living condition.
Now, you got to listen to this because I'm telling you what, the detective and his spidey senses saved her yesterday.
Wow.
Since she was reported missing in July of 2019. Police received tips suggesting the child was being held in Saugerties, about 90 miles north of New York City. They'd searched that home before, but the owner, the father of one of Paislee's accused abductors, denied seeing the little girl.
Which is basically her grandpa, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't deter detectives, who lingered longer than an hour.
They basically decided they were staying until they found that child.
And then
Now, the staircase and where they had been hiding Paislee was for a situation like yesterday when they come to search the house. They don't believe that she was kept under the stairs the whole time.
Right.
Not that it makes it any better.
No.
a breakthrough. Noticing the odd construction of the basement staircase, a detective shined a flashlight through a crack and caught a glimpse of a blanket. After removing a few steps, he saw a tiny pair of feet.
Detective's instincts definitely made him the hero of the hour as far as
Imagine that. He just kind of had a gut feeling, started shining a light. He sees a blanket under the stairs and starts ripping up the steps, the stairs, prying them open to see what was down there.
Why was he in attendance at the house at that point?
Do what, hun?
Why was the officer at the attendance in the house? I think I missed that.
They had gotten a tip that she was being hidden there, and they had searched before, but the grandfather, basically he's the grandfather, said he hadn't seen her.
Oh, okay.
So they came back, and basically this time they weren't taking no for an answer. So they had a lot of behind the scenes intel, is what I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
So for him to see kind of to shine in the steps, that's some very good police work. My hat's off.
Yeah.
Suspected abductors and the owner of that home are all facing charges of endangering the welfare of a child. Kimberly Cooper is in jail on a previous warrant. The others released on their own recognizance. Stay away orders of protection.
Now, I'm not happy with this. I'm going to tell you why.
No.
It's basically like they're treating this like a family court situation and not a kidnapping, because they are the non-custodial parents. And that's how they're going to treat this. So anyone that thinks they're going to be in jail for the rest of their lives, I don't see it. They're going to treat it, like I said, child endangerment. Will they get some jail time? Yeah, they will. But like right now, 2 of them have an ROR. They're at home. She'll have to get bailed out on her previous warrant. In my opinion, even if you are the parent, you cannot withhold a child from the other parent or where they're supposed to be legally. Why these
No.
two lost custody, I don't know. They're not saying. But right now, that's all we've got. Hopefully, there's a very aggressive DA that
Yeah.
slaps more charges. Didn't happen
Absolutely.
yesterday because they got out on their own recognizance.
Action have been issued against all three.
Police say not only is Paislee in good health, there's more good news, Adrian. She recognized her older sister and a McDonald's that the police drove by while taking her to that reunion with her family. I'm happy to report the policeman turned the car around and got some McDonald's. He said that Paislee recognized the golden arches and hadn't had a treat in quite some time, and I'm glad she got one.
A girl after my own heart. I'm glad to hear she's okay. Thank you so much for watching.
Wow.
Okay, so finally we've got some good news.
Oh,
I
God,
really
that poor
hope
child.
that they stack on more charges. I mean, if paramedics checked her out, then obviously she hadn't been. I don't see any charges of SA, physical abuse, or anything like that. This is definitely something in the family courts that went way wrong. I'm assuming they had a visit with her and didn't bring her back. They are from Western New York and took her, all the way across the state, and they've been hiding her there. I can't believe that the grandpa's house wasn't one of the first places they checked in 2019.
Yeah.
Didn't even know she was missing until she was found yesterday, hoping for the same outcome for Monkey and all the other children.
Will she go home to her parents now?
Well, the parents are in jail, so I'm not really sure who her legal
actual
guardian
parents.
is.
Okay.
I don't know where she's at, and I don't know why they took her and not the other siblings.
Right. Wow. Well, yeah, great news story, but there's still a lot to come on that, I guess, for the future for that child.
Well, the good news is she wasn't hospitalized. So
Yeah.
if the paramedics, obviously
And she enjoyed a McDonald's.
they got her McDonald's. So still doesn't make it any better, but she
No.
is safe. She recognized her sister and she got some McDonald's. And so these two, I'm glad they have protective orders so they can't get to her again.
Brilliant.
So they obviously had to take her all the way back over to Western New York. I don't see those two getting over there anytime soon.
No.
Well, I'm going to start closing the show up. Kat, incredible work. Your
Thank you.
videos are amazing. Everybody sub Kat's channel.
Thank
It
you.
is Kat Chats Crime and Coffee. Amazing work. We're not going to stop talking about little monkey Vaughn. Not going to happen. But in the
Excellent.
meantime, we've got to share this and help his mama out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let
And thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna let you say your goodbyes. We're gonna send Kevin out into his Wednesday and then get ready for tomorrow's show.
Excellent.
Okie dokie.
Well, thank you so much, Brooks and Kevin. And I know that when Brandi watches this, which she will, she definitely will. Yeah, I hope she knows that we're all thinking about her and sending our love. And like I said earlier, do everything we can to keep Michael's name out there. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening in chat, and I will catch you in the show tomorrow.
Yes, you will, my friend. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, baby.
Bye. Thank you for your video, Kat. They're always well done. And thank you for being a voice for these children. I'll just say in closing, Brooks, I'm so glad you have this channel for people to vent. And remember, and this is so fitting today, remember, people, hug and give your kids a kiss today. You never know, period. You may, and if you don't have children, or tell a family member or members. If you don't have a family member, tell your pet. If you don't have pets, tell yourself you are loved, because you can show love.
Absolutely, you can. And it starts with number one. You got to have love for yourself, or you treat everybody else like garbage. So thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you to everyone that came in here today, for Michael Vaughn, supporting his mother, supporting his family. Thank you in advance for sharing this video, giving it a like, hitting the sub button. These children are way too important to get caught up in drama, insane rumors. We got to keep it to the facts. And you guys are the best community on YouTube, and you're the best chat. You just are. You truly care about the children, and I truly care about you. Thank you to the mod squad. And in the meantime, guys, send me an email. I love talking to you guys between shows. Let's come visit in Discord. Hit us up on Facebook. We have one group. It seems like we're getting a lot of new requests to come in, and we just talk about all true crime, not just one particular case. So in the meantime, we have a big show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. Hit that sub button, hit that like, share this, set your alarm for 9 a.m. Central Time. You guys are the absolute best. Absolute best. These kids need you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.